Hey everybody. Oh my goodness. Today is day 1 of my 11 top self-love practices, and I apologize, I'm a little late to this one. I actually had a client guided meditation that happened and went a little longer than anticipated before this. So here I am, so excited to be here with you, and we're talking about self-love because ultimately it is the foundation of everything. It's the foundation of everything. To the degree that you allow yourself to receive is also the degree to which you allow yourself to to receive love is the degree that you allow yourself to receive things from other people, from the universe, manifest, create all of that. And so I want you to feel as whole as possible on your life experience. So that is why I'm talking about this, because it's important. So I'm going to go ahead and I just have a few notes I want to share with you today on this topic. We're going to have a short discussion on it. This is something that I think we could probably talk about for days. And it's actually why I am going to do more videos on this. But each one of these, I'm just going to talk a little bit about, and feel free to share if you have added thoughts or comments or insights that come through. Feel free to share that in the comments. But this is to get that conversation going, to place the emphasis on it, because we can't necessarily attract and manifest what we want on the outside if we don't have it on the inside first. And this all stems from, if you're just meeting like me, let me just go ahead and share a little bit that I'm a transformational confidence coach, and I started out years ago helping people prepare for job interviews, and realized that the real work in preparing and helping someone feel more confident is in helping them own and embrace how amazing they are, just as they are. And so that's where I'm coming from. If that helps give you a little more context of why we're here, what this is about, and why this is so important. So today, my very first self-love practice, and we could maybe even call this a tenet. I've been meaning to look up the word tenet. What exactly does tenet mean, right? I know what it means, but wanting to get like the absolute definition on it. But so, we could say self-love, sure, looks like things like, taking bubble baths and pampering yourself and all that. Yes, 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 yes. But that's not necessarily what I'm focusing on. I'm talking about those things that we practice internally within ourself, within yourself. They're going to help you be that energy of love, be that energy of abundance and wholeness. I said this the other day, but I want to say it here too. You are always whole. You are never broken. You don't need to be fixed. And yet, you may have the experience of feeling like you're broken or need to be fixed or not quite whole. So this is essentially what are those things that are really going to be in service to you, to feeling more whole from the inside out. So my very first one, you've already seen it on here somewhere. Self-love looks like accepting all of who you are. I say looks like because a lot of people don't really know what self-love looks like for them. Again, there are infinite definitions or descriptions of what we could say self-love looks like. If we may know that self-love is really good. Yeah, I should love myself. I do love myself. But if you don't have clarity on what that looks like, it actually means for you, then it's going to be hard for you to actually practice it, right? Going to be more challenging for you to actually implement that. And to be able to give yourself that space to be able to grow and deepen your own self-love, so you can be more of who you are in the outside world. Receive all that you innately deserve, if you don't even know what it looks like in the first place. So my very first one, self-love looks like accepting all of who you are. Whenever there is, if you see me looking down a little bit, it's because I'm just looking at some notes I want to make sure to acknowledge here. So whenever there's anything about your life that you are rejecting, in denial about, or flat out hating on. I'm not a fan of the word hate, but we all know what that means, right? And sometimes we may not do that to other people, but we do it to ourselves. If there's ever a time when you're in that space, you are essentially not accepting all of who you are. And so I want to acknowledge, again, this could be such a much deeper conversation, but I'm going to stick to the basics here. So at the core of who you are is love. At the core of who you are is love. And when you are rejecting portions of your existence or of your experience, you're essentially cutting off the degree to which love can actually flow to you and through you. It's like constricting a valve. Does that make sense? You know what? I've got the comments covered. Let me just see. Hey, Lily, good to see you. Let me know if you have any thoughts as we're going through this. So what does accepting all of who you are look like? Again, that can happen in infinite ways. I've got 3 key areas that we can look at this from. So accepting all of who you are can come from a space of accepting your physical appearance. A lot of us know that one, right? We may go, oh, maybe I like this about me, but I don't like that about me, right? I like my eyes. I don't like my hips. I like my hair, but gosh, I wish I had different skin. Or, I wish I was taller. I wish I was thinner. All those different things we might come up with. Any body part or element, aspect of your physical appearance that you are rejecting, you're emitting that energy of you're not okay as you are, that there's something to not like about you. And that's just simply not true. However you were born, however you were created and made, however, right? Because we're all born and made differently. It's perfect. It's beautiful. It's amazing. That doesn't mean that you have to stop wanting to change it. So for instance, let's say you wanted to lose weight. Okay. So there are justifications and reasons for why we can say that is a good thing, right? That's a healthy thing. I'm not saying stop desiring to lose weight to be healthier. I'm saying before you get to that space where you change anything, you actually first need to accept who and what you already are, what you are already made of, what you were already given. Because when you accept it first, then you actually release the resistance to moving towards whatever it is you want to create next. So if you're trying to lose weight, but meanwhile, like hating how you look, not saying you can't lose weight, but you're introducing this really heavy energy into this new body, this new experience you're in the process of generating for yourself. And that's not loving and kind to yourself. Think about other people in the world. Can you think of someone who has, maybe someone that doesn't like a certain part of their body, and you think they're fine to me. I accept them as they are. I don't have a problem with their weight or their height or their hair or their whatever. Just as you wouldn't judge or hate on another person, you don't deserve to judge or hate on yourself. You are also just perfect and beautiful and right as you are. So I hope this is making sense. So it's not to say, that you if you want to change something, you need to not ever want to change something. That's not what we're saying. But before you can ever get to that place, you want to have as sturdy and as solid of a foundation as possible. And that means accepting how and who you are right now. Okay, my second one, so I hope that first one made sense. My second one, accepting all of who you are, and what does that mean? Let's look at your character, habits, personality. I'm rolling all of those into one, right? Those are things that we can change, and yet to some degree may be fixed. right? There are those things that make us unique, how we show up in our physical body, right? How we behave. I want to use a couple of examples. Let's say you are a very studious, serious person, but you wish you could be more funny. First, appreciate who you are because that adds value to our world. If we just had a world filled with like funny people constantly cracking jokes, constantly cracking jokes, and, you know, um, sure, there might be a lot of laughter, but I don't know, how productive would of a society would we be, right? How how effective would we be? Um, I only say that to highlight the value of, it's okay if you're a very studious, serious person, you add value just as you are to the world. If you want to work on being funnier, absolutely there are ways to do that. But again, you wouldn't be operating from a sturdy foundation by first rejecting who you are and how you are and then trying to become something different. You want to first accept who you are, and that opens the space for something new. Now, the flip side to this is that when you accept who you are and how you are, you may actually decide, oh, I don't really need to be funnier. Or, oh, I don't need to change my body. I'm actually just fine the way that I am. So it's kind of a catch 22 there. And you can't kind of like fake accept who you are. You can't go, okay, I'm going to accept who I am, but then I still want to change it. No, you have to like really accept who you are. And that's going to create an energy of inner peace. Added groundedness within you. It's a feeling, it's an energy that you are then in, that you absolutely can create from. But once you accept whatever you've been rejecting, you may realize, I don't actually want to change it after all. And so either is fine. The goal is for you to get to that place where you feel whole. You feel whole. You feel as solid in knowing and feeling your worth and your value. Okay, I had another one here for the character habits personality section. So let's say you set a New Year's resolution or intention, however you want to look at it, and okay, I want to stop smoking. Maybe it's you want to stop smoking, and so you're practicing, and then you get tripped up, and you're like, I can't take it anymore. I need to go smoke. I need a cigarette, or I need to stand by someone who's smoking, or I don't know, whatever it may be. And then you start to beat yourself up because you're not doing so good on that resolution you just created for yourself a few weeks ago. That's common, right? A lot of us tend to do that. A lot of us tend to, maybe set a goal for yourself or say, I'm going to do this thing different in my life. And then we have a pattern of behavior or habits that we're so accustomed to, and it's hard. It feels challenging. It's difficult. And there are different words we could use for that. I'm not going to be focused on the words that I'm using right now because I know you know what I mean. And so I'm speaking to this. So it may feel hard. It may feel challenging. And then you may fall into the pattern of now beating yourself up. So does that beating yourself up space serve you in actually changing that behavior? Now, I know some people would actually argue that it does, right? Beating yourself up in a sense of, I'm going to force myself to change. But think about this. Think about a time when someone, and it may go back to your childhood, right? When you're a kid and you've got parents or adults who are in essence, responsible for you and telling you what to do. Think about a time when you've had someone try to force something upon you and you really didn't want to do it. So you may have found that, okay, fine, I did it because I was afraid of if I didn't do it, what was going to happen, right? Or I did it because just you somehow felt that you had to, and so you did it. But then Did you in some way either fall back into the old pattern at some point down the line, or did you end up developing resentment towards that person? Now, again, there could be different circumstances where you might be thinking, no, Kim, this isn't universal, blah, blah, blah. This is going to be in the context, in different contexts, okay? I'm just using examples to give you some ideas, and you can come up with what resonates for you. So you set that resolution to stop smoking and you weren't able to stick with it. So now you're beating yourself up about it. This isn't about changing the resolution. It's about changing those parts of you that are starting to beat yourself up for it. What if instead of trying to force yourself to make the change, you actually accept that, yes, I have been a smoker for however many years. And yes, I don't like it. And so, yes, I'm choosing to, set this resolution, this intention to make the change. And yes, I may have some times where I slip up. I'm still keeping my eye on the prize. I'm still focused on my goal of quitting smoking completely. But when I slip up, right, this is the acceptance piece of that. When I slip up, with the understanding that you probably want that to be fewer and fewer times. But if it happens again, maybe you can make the conscious choice to accept that, okay, I'm human. This was a habit that took a long time. And by allowing yourself to accept and breathe into that space, then what other things might you be able to shift? What other resources or tools can you maybe bring into your experience to support you in making the shift of stopping smoking? Would it benefit you to have a stronger support team, other people to support you in this? Would it benefit you to maybe journal every time you really feel that urge to smoke? What are the thoughts and emotions that are coming up for you? Oh, start to write it out and release that energy that way. Is there something else that comes up for you? When you accept what's happening and stop fighting it, you keep that space open for other possibilities. So it's not a black and white thing. I either completely quit smoking or I, fall off the wagon and that's it. It doesn't have to be this or that. There's a whole ton of gray in the middle. And one of the beautiful gifts that you get to give yourself, because no one else can really put this on you, right? Even if there are other people in your world wanting you to stop smoking, no one else can make you stop smoking. No one else can make you do or be different, ever. Even if they try, they ultimately can't, right? You are the only one responsible for what you actually end up doing, choosing to do, and thinking, and all of that. And to any degree that some of that has been unconscious and just sort of, rote behavior, you now get to choose, oh, okay, I do want to look at that. I do want to be more conscious of that and deliberately shift that. So there's a whole ton of gray in there, and the gray can come through accepting wherever you have that experience of internal frustration with yourself, wanting yourself to be different and going, but I am like this. Okay. And that's okay. That's okay that I am like this right now. I'm just going to choose to accept it right now and just love it. And I still want to shift to this or that. So how am I going to support myself in continuing on that journey? So I have one more thing that I'm going to talk about in terms of what does accepting all of who you are look like? What area of your life could that show up in? But I first just also want to say and reiterate, I said this in the video I did last week, that these videos that I'm doing here I'm also holding space for you to determine, what does self-love look like for you? Okay. I'm giving examples just to kind of help, generate some ideas or momentum for you. Maybe the examples I use specifically apply to your situation, but maybe they don't. Maybe there's something else that's similar and you're like, oh yeah, you know what, that makes, okay, I can apply that to this area. So, okay, my third one, accepting all of who you are might show up in, might show up in your appearance, might show up in your character, habits, personality, might show up in life situations. So, for instance, I've got two client examples that just recently happened. So was talking with a client yesterday about abundance, and she mentioned that bills are something that, just create anxiety and frustration for her, and she wants to shift that. And so we were just talking about, again, knowing that you are love, that every aspect of you is love, and everything you are connected to you is an extension of your energy. Everything from, of course, your whole physical body, but like the clothing that you're wearing is an extension of you. The things in your physical space are an extension of you, right? They're your things. They're the things you use. And extending out to, the things that you buy are an extension of you. And therefore, anything that you buy that, of course, generates a bill is an extension of you. And so just think about that. If you are feeling that sense of, I hate these bills, I can't stand them. We all understand that. And yet, what if instead of cutting off the energy at that point, you were to actually embrace the bill, knowing that it's an extension of you, knowing that that bill supported you in having what it is that you have, whether it be everything from, say, the electricity in your home, to the groceries that you buy, to maybe it's a car payment, whatever it might be at all. It's supporting you and having the things that you at one time chose to bring into your experience, right? So that's one example of, so why would that be helpful? Well, bills are also a representation of money, abundance, and that whole flow of money thing. And so if you were looking to receive more money, then might it benefit you to actually generate more acceptance and flow around the bills that are also an extension and representation of that. So that's one example. I hope that made sense. I have one more. Lily, thank you for the comments. I'll get back to those in just a moment here. And one more. So I, just before today's call, and why I was a little late here, had a guided meditation client. And if that's something that ever interests you, then definitely reach out to me and check that out. They're really wonderful. 30 to 45 minute live guided meditations. And so we were doing one of those, and this client had scheduled the meditation for today when she believed she was going to be able to be in a quiet space and no one else was going to be at home with her. Well, wouldn't you know, that wasn't the case. Other people were home and she was able to have the door shut, but during the meditation, while she's, doing her best to be present with it, she was able to hear those external noises in her home. And she acknowledged at the end of the session that it was bringing up a sense of frustration and anger for her during the session. But she made the choice to just accept it and continue to bring her focus back to what is, right? We can't ever control other people. We can only control what we choose for ourselves. And so by doing that, by choosing to say, okay, I'm just going to accept that's what's happening today. That's what's happening right now. Not what I expected, not what I was wanting to manifest or create, but it is. It just is. And I can choose to either be frustrated and angry about it and therefore completely take myself out of this meditation, or I can choose to accept it. Right? Like, notice that when you accept something, it's kind of like this, this exhale that can take place because you're releasing that resistance that gets generated when we don't accept. And so she chose to accept it. bring her energy back to the session. And she had an amazing session. So, an amazing guided meditation. So, those are just a couple of examples of life situations that happen that, it may involve other people, or maybe simply just things that we have been, contributing to and not been so happy about. But nevertheless, it is. It doesn't mean it can't change, but before it can truly change, you want to just accept. You want to accept. I'm going to give another example because this is one that uh, that happened, that I applied in my real life. And so, for instance, let's say there's another person in your world that is, it's just kind of a thorn in your side. This was many years ago, but there was once someone who I worked with, and one of those people that you're just like, I wish I didn't have to deal with that person, or why is this person that way? Why is that person saying this thing to me? You're now doing this or that, right? We all have experiences like that with other people. And this was right when I was in the process of learning about law of attraction and really practicing it as much as possible in my life. And I mean, I practice it very often now, but really like just beginning to implement it. And so, anyway, so here I was at work going, oh, that person, right? Having a great day. And then that person sends me an email. Oh, can you relate? So, in those moments, you have a choice. And I had a choice, and I realized, okay, that's right. Okay, hold on. I'm going to choose to accept this person for who they are. I'm going to first choose to accept them for who they are. And so I acknowledged, okay, how am I feeling when I have experiences with this person? How am I feeling in my body? Where is that tenseness? Where is that restriction happening? And as I chose to accept this other person, I allowed that resistance to also disengage and start to release within me. Because that's what it is. It's within us and then also happening outside of us. And then we can just get to be in a cycle of it. So to get to the core of it, you want to start to disengage it and release it within you. And as you do that, then your outside experiences start to shift. So what ended up happening for me is I ended up manifesting a completely different job that I really, really desired, which meant I no longer had to deal with that person, right? At the same time, until I manifested that new job, it also made it easier to be in connection with that person. So that other person doesn't need to shift or change anything whatsoever about them. It's always all about you first. So, okay, well, I say these conversations are going to be short and then they end up being, almost 30 minutes long. So that's what I wanted to highlight for today's conversation about self-love looks like accepting all of who you are. And again, I just want to emphasize whatever came up for you as I was speaking. It may be something similar, it may be something completely different. I say whatever came up for you in this conversation, trust that there's something there for you. There's a message there for you. And maybe it's something to journal on. Maybe it's something to simply meditate on. But trust that whatever came up for you is showing up for a reason, and that there's a message in that for you. So we're not quite done. I'm so glad that you guys are here. Let me give you an affirmation that you can use if you want to deepen this energy of acceptance into your life. The affirmation is, I am beautiful and amazing just as I am. I accept all of me with love and appreciation. And if for any reason the word beautiful doesn't resonate with you, then take that out or replace it with something else. You may just want to use, I accept all of me with love and appreciation. And, keep repeating that to yourself. Maybe nothing came up for you as I was giving examples today. Maybe no new ideas came up for you. You're still not quite sure how to apply it to yourself. That's okay. But if you have the awareness that you aren't fully accepting who you are as you are in this moment, then maybe you want to just start with an affirmation. I choose to, I'm going to add the word choose, right? Because maybe you go, well, I accept all of me, but I don't accept all of me right now. Okay. If just that wording right there, I accept all of me, but no, I don't. If that creates some added resistance, then shift it. I choose. I now choose to accept all of me with love and appreciation. I now choose to accept all of me with love and appreciation. I'm going to even take it another step back because depending where you are, I get how this can be. So let's say you're thinking maybe you're having some resistance to choosing this for yourself. Maybe there's a part of you going, oh my gosh, why am I resisting choosing this for myself? Is it possible you can choose to open up to the idea of accepting all of who you are with love and appreciation? I now open up to the idea of accepting all of who I am with love and appreciation. I now open up to accepting all of who I am with love and appreciation. So know that you can always play around with the wording that feels right to you. At the same time, I am just going to say, yes, you can also just say certain affirmations a bazillion times and eventually generate that energy. However, that may be harder to do. So if it's too hard, you don't want to do something that's so hard that you stop doing it, right? That's just like with the stop smoking example. You don't want to be forcing yourself to stop smoking. And by forcing yourself, you're eventually kind of wearing yourself down. So eventually you just say, oh, screw it. And you stop altogether. You stop even trying, right? How can you be kinder to yourself, accepting of where you are, knowing that it's all just fine? If you're in a space of having a hard time even truly wanting to open up and love yourself, maybe you have the awareness of, gosh, that sounds like it'd be great if I could just love myself. But you're so comfortable where you are. You're so used to not loving and accepting yourself. But you'd like to get there. You can choose to open up to it. You can choose to just, I choose to hold space for the desire to want to love and accept myself. I choose to hold space for the desire to love and accept myself to come to me, right? You can do that. Again, there are an abundant, infinite gray areas on this. So I hope that has been helpful to you. I'm going to go ahead and pull a couple of cards. For those that love cards, I know I do, and I know some of you do too. Let me know in the comments what you're taking away from today. I'm going to go ahead and move this down. Let me know in the comments what you're taking away from today. How is this resonating with you? What's coming up for you? And if you like this video, I would love if you'd click the like button or share it or subscribe if you're new here. That definitely helps me as well. So let's go ahead and start off by pulling, where is it? A self-care card. We're going to pull a self-care card. I also want to emphasize self-care is different from self-love. So self-care can represent forms of self-love, but self-love isn't necessarily they're just different, okay? They're different. I think you know that, but I just wanted to emphasize that. Okay, so let's see. We're going to pull 3 different cards from 3 different decks. I'm going to go ahead and do an actual shuffle here. I'm glad some of this resonated with you, Lily. Okay. Okay, what message wants to come through for everybody watching today's video? Here we go. I think this came out recently. I don't remember where. Trust. The back of it says, "Trust your decisions. March to the beat of your own heart." Yes. Oh, I'm trying to remember where this came out recently. You know what? I'm going to pull another self-care card. Whoa. Hold on. Okay. The second one that immediately flew out. Silence. It says, "Rest your mind. Silence is good self-care." I feel like this might be a confirmation for anybody. Ooh, how interesting. Okay, let me finish my thought. I feel like this might be confirmation for anybody who is getting the nudge to meditate more. So if that's resonating for you, trust silence. I also want to, let's see, you know what? Hello. Both of these, okay, so there's always symbolism in things. At least I find it. Notice both of these have a green top border. They're also, yeah, see, not all these cards are the same. Okay, both of these cards, oh my gosh, this is so amazing. The more I look at this, both of these cards have a green top border. Green is the color of the heart chakra. Okay, self-love, right? Both of these cards also have trees. And to me, that's confirmation about grounding your energy. We're grounding and deepening your sense of self-love within your physical being and grounding your energy into the physical earth as well is hugely beneficial. Now, there may be some people that are like, "What, huh, Kim? Like, that doesn't make sense. I don't know why I really need to do that." And others know exactly what I'm talking about. So wherever you are, it's fine. But for those who that's resonating with, I just want to point that out. The other thing here is that, well, so she's got an orange skirt, and this person is like covered in leaves. I don't know why. Covered in leaves. But anyway, they're both kind of like these orangey brown tones. And so what that brings up for me is, so orange is the color of your sacral chakra, which is the place you create from. When your sacral chakra is closed or blocked or, diminished, then you're not as able to be creative. So this may be in service to you, that if you're finding some sense of resistance in accepting who you are or having more self-love, that maybe start to shift some of your energy around by getting out there and being creative. I say getting out there, but maybe being creative means just doing something in your home, okay? But whatever being creative looks like for you, how can you start to just create something new? Just bring a new life, new color, new energy into your world. Creativity can show up in a bazillion different ways. I mean, sure, it can be actual art, painting, drawing, maybe maybe you create videos. It can look like maybe you knit or crochet, or maybe you work with wood. Maybe you build things, right? Maybe you are a creative problem solver. Maybe you fix things. And so whatever comes up for you when you think of being creative, making something, adjusting something, generating something, that may be a way to help start to shift some energy for you so that you can open up space and be able to receive more of your own self-love and knowing how awesome you are. So I wanted to point those out. Okay. Then I have two other decks, and we're going to pull now an inner peace card, Inner peace is amazing. And the more self-love you have, then you're essentially deepening your own sense of inner peace. Okay. What card wants to come through for everybody who watches today's video? Okay, hold on. Thanks for being here, Lily. Okay. I am divine, precious soul. Once you believe in yourself and see your soul as divine and precious, you will automatically become a being who can create a miracle. So that could be another affirmation for you. I am a divine, precious soul. Absolutely. Okay, and we're going to close out with a power thought card. Okay, well, 2 fell on my lap. So, okay, so we've got I am flexible and flowing. And we've got it's only a thought, and a thought can be changed. Absolutely. It's only a thought, and a thought can be changed. So, I think these cards did a fantastic job of expanding our conversation today about self-love looking like accepting all of who you are. And we start with that one because that helps you have a stronger, more solid foundation from which to do other things, from which to generate other beliefs, from which to, take other actions and shift other elements of your world so that you can really receive your own love and bask in it and know what self-love looks like for you. So I hope this conversation has been helpful for you. Please, I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, please go ahead and like today's video, share it with someone you know. And if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, then we'd love to see you back here. So feel free to hit the subscribe button. And if you'd like to connect with me outside of YouTube, you can also connect with me on Facebook, or of course, check out my website and contact me through there as well. And those links are down below in the description of this video. So thank you so much. And I will be back again next Monday at 12 p.m. Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern, sharing my second self-love practice or tenet, however you want to look at it. I'm going to look up the word tenet and decide here what I call it. Anyway, have a fantastic week, and I'll see you next week.